Some would say it's a meteorologist's job to be here during the afternoon showers and major storms. But we disagree. It's not just a job, it's our passion. We work hard analyzing the most advanced maps, radar, and data, bringing you a blueprint so you can take on the day with the ones you love. Getting results by keeping you safe. That's our passion, and that's just what we do.
Insiders.
What does it mean to be an insider? Get access to exclusive content like extended interviews, behind-the-scenes looks, bloopers, enter contests, and more.
100% shocked. She called me. I was like, what?
Sign up to be a News 6 insider at clickorlando.com/insider.
Hey there, I'm Crystal Moyer, your News 6 Insider Guide. And when you go to clickorlando.com and sign up to be an insider, I'll bring you things like special stories about people in our community, exclusive contests, giveaways, and of course, I'll bring you behind the scenes at News 6. Say hi, guys. So if you're not an insider already, what are you waiting for? Go to clickorlando.com, click right here, fill out this form, and sign up to be an insider today.
Sponsored by Orange County Library System.
Watch meteorologist Michelle Morgan for your weekend forecast, weekend mornings on News 6.
Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results in your neighborhood now at 5 a.m.
Now on News 6 Morning, the historic launch from the Space Coast is set to lift off this afternoon. The astronauts will be joining some familiar faces when they reach the International Space Station. Plus, Helene tore through Florida and the Southeast Thursday night into Friday. Now people are figuring out how to recover from the damage after the devastating storm.
And many of us are starting off our Saturday morning dry, but I am tracking a batch of showers and thunderstorms moving in from the west. Rain chances go up through today. I'll break it all down coming up in a bit.
Good morning, Central Florida. You're watching News 6 Getting Results. I'm Emily McLeod.
And thanks for waking up with us in this early Saturday morning. I'm meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
Michelle, you obviously had a busy couple of days leading into the weekend.
It was a little hectic.
Tracking Helene. That was quite a storm.
It was quite a storm. And you know what? We anticipated it going under rapid intensification before landfall. And it's just very unfortunate because the Big Bend region just had a hurricane last month.
It is
Hurricane
unbelievable
Debbie.
How many times they have been hit recently.
I know. In 13 months, they've had 3 hurricanes.
Big hurricanes.
Big hurricanes.
Yeah.
Devastating hurricanes. But right now, there are no tropical threats to Central Florida, so we all can breathe a sigh of relief, right? All right, here's a live look outside in downtown Orlando from our Orlando delivering hope camera. All is quiet, but it is very muggy outside. Again, Helene is now a remnant low, continuing to lift to the north, but we are still looking at that tropical moisture across Central Florida and a little bit of dry air working in as we head through later on today. But as we take a look at the live radar here, tracking some showers moving in from our western zones, we'll continue to see rain showers as we go through the morning and afternoon. Hit or miss. Rain chances not high. I am calling for a 40%, but some downpours are certainly possible across Central Florida. So just make sure you have that rain gear ready to go just in case. Now, as we take a look at the winds here, still gusty across Central Florida, clocking in winds at 13 miles per hour in Claremont, Orlando, Kissimmee at 11 miles per hour and 15 miles per hour in New Smyrna Beach. We'll continue to see the winds out of this direction as we go through the rest of today out of the southwest, but we are still looking at a high rip current risk. So if you are planning a beach day, just be mindful of that and swim near a lifeguard. As we take a look at your current temperatures, we are starting off in the 70s. Temperatures get fairly warm as we head into today in the lower 90s, but feeling like 102 and 103 degrees. Now, rain chances are lower later on this week. We'll talk about that coming up in a bit.
All right, Michelle, thank you. Well, it is a huge day on the Space Coast as NASA and SpaceX prepare to send another mission to the International Space Station. But this mission, it'll include some familiar faces. SpaceX and NASA plan to launch the Crew 9 mission from Cape Canaveral just after 1:15 this afternoon. It will be the first SpaceX launch with astronauts from Space Launch Complex 40, but there's been some changes. Only 2 astronauts are headed up instead of the initially planned 4 because they'll be bringing back Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore, who are waiting to come home after the Boeing Starliner capsule had to come back to Earth without them. Williams and Wilmore launched back in July aboard aboard the Boeing Starliner capsule. Their goal was to only be there for 8 days, and now they aren't planning to come back until February. Today's mission will see them join SpaceX and NASA's Crew 9 astronauts to work aboard the space station for the next 6 months. But space fans here in Central Florida are excited to see another crewed launch from Cape Canaveral.
So you guys coming out for the launch?
Yes, sir, and I'm so excited. I lived here for only a couple months, and just seeing the rocket launch from my house and now coming down here, I'm so excited to see it. So excited.
Yeah, I lived here all my life, so she's my friend, so I'm bringing her down here to watch the launch tomorrow.
Once Crew 9 is set to return, Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams will head back to Earth for the first time in nearly 8 months. If the launch happens, we'll have it here live on News 6, clickorlando.com, and the News 6 app for your smart TV. Now, the weather seems to be okay for launch today, but earlier this week, it was a completely different story. Hurricane Helene made landfall in the Big Bend region. We had a reporter on the ground in Perry, Florida, bringing us all the updates. News 6 investigator Eric Sandoval rode out the storm and showed us the damage after Helene was gone. Absolutely unbelievable. Helene was such a big storm, even though it made landfall in the Big Bend region. We had impacts here in Central Florida, too. Locally, families are recovering from the wind and rain that came along with the hurricane. News 6's Treasure Roberts was with one Apopka family who was surprised to see how much the storm damaged their home. Always upsetting to see people dealing with those frustrations after a storm comes through the area. And over in Seminole County, another family is dealing with damages from Helene. One family recovering after the storm, they say it tore through their duplex. Unbelievable. Time now is 5:10. Let's go ahead and check back in with meteorologist Michelle Morgan. Michelle, he is so lucky his son was not in his room when that tree came through the roof. It's unbelievable.
It is honestly very unbelievable to see that type of devastation. And you know what? The tropics really not slowing down. As we take a look at what's going on, we have 2 named storms out in the Atlantic Basin. We have Tropical Storm Joyce and Hurricane Isaac. Both won't be an issue for us continuing to stay out to sea, but Hurricane Isaac may impact England as we go through the week. Looking at a spot here closer to the coast of Africa, this wave will continue to emerge off that area, and it has a medium chance for tropical development. Once again, we may have to be under a Gulf watch as we go through the upcoming work week conditions. A lot of models are hinting that an area of low pressure could form in the Western Caribbean. The National Hurricane Center has a medium chance for tropical development. This will be gradual development, very slow development as we go through the next 5 to 7 days, and we could potentially see a tropical depression by midweek. Of course, we'll continue to watch it, but there's no tropical threats to Central Florida as of now. Now, it's humid, it's warm, things will get hot as we go through today, and many of us, it will feel like 102 to 105 degrees, so make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Rain chances are moderate. We'll break it all down coming up in my full forecast.
All right, Michelle, thank you. Here at News 6, we are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, and coming up after the break, News 6's Ezzy Castro gives us a look into how one woman's culture has fueled her career. You're watching News 6 Mornings. We're getting results for our friends in Castleberry, Maitland, and all of Central Florida. We'll be right back.
Join News 6 and Advent Health Centric Care to get your free flu shot. There will be prizes, face painting, free food, and no appointments needed.
For the free flu shot location near you, visit getfreeflushots.com.
It's not just a job, it's our passion. We work hard, bringing you a blueprint so you can take on the day with the ones you love. Getting results by keeping you safe. That's our passion, and that's just what we do.
We've been celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month here at News 6, and we're highlighting local businesses and leaders making a difference across Central Florida. News 6's Ezzy Castro is sharing the story of an artist using her Cuban and Colombian heritage to showcase her culture through her artwork. Meteorologist Michelle Morgan joins us now. Like you were saying just a few minutes ago, things are heating up in the tropics.
Yeah, it is certainly heating up. Usually we see this type of pattern early September, well, late August into early September, especially closer to the peak of hurricane season, which is September 10th. But now that we're about to get into October, we're really seeing things ramp up across the tropics. And of course, we'll talk about that through my full forecast. I do want to get you going so you know what to expect for this weekend. A fairly nice weekend. We're looking at breezy conditions through today, not as strong as the past couple of days, but here's a live look outside in Cape Canaveral. Things are breezy. As you can see, those trees are swaying out in the distance, remaining breezy as we go through today. Temperatures are at 78 degrees, humidity at 91%, and winds are at 5 miles per hour, gusts at 10 miles per hour. This will continue to go up as we go through today. So if you are planning a beach day, not awful, but there is a high rip current risk, so keep that in mind. As we take a look at the live radar scan here, fairly dry conditions, not bad, but tracking a batch of showers, some downpours moving to our north and east. We may see a few of those showers, potentially storms spill into our western zone, so Marion County and also Sumter County as we go through the next hour or so. Rain chances not high, looking at 40% today, but I would bring the rain gear with me just in case if a random downpour happens in your area as we go through the morning and afternoon. Winds across central Florida. We're looking at winds sustained out of the northwest here between really 10 or I would say 5 to 13 miles per hour in many spots, but gusts are certainly higher, and gusts will continue to go up as we go through today out of that direction. Temperatures, it's warm. We're at 76 degrees in Sanford, Orlando, New Smyrna Beach, Daytona Beach. Good morning at 75, much warmer. And near Brevard County, we're looking at 78 in Melbourne, Cocoa Beach at 77 and 77 in Cape Canaveral. So your forecast today, rain chance is steady at 40% through the morning, afternoon. See a daytime high of 92 degrees. Now, because the humidity is very high, it's going to feel like 102 to 105 degrees. Beach forecast, upper 80s, water still warm at 81. UV index and rip current risk will be high today, as I just mentioned. Timing things out, we'll continue to see hit or miss showers and thunderstorms producing heavy rain at times. Notice the direction of the winds out of the south and southwest. That'll continue to increase the humidity through today. Through the 3-4 o'clock hour, continuing to see scattered rain and some downpours across central Florida. By 6, we'll see a few showers and storms heading towards Marion County and Flagler County. And heading into tonight, lingering showers and storms are possible for many areas. The metro area, parts of Lake County, heading into Seminole County. And then things drying out as we head into the overnight hours. Tropics, here's what's going on. Pretty busy. Looking at 2 named storms. We have Hurricane Isaac and Tropical Storm Joyce here. And then we have an area that we'll be watching in the next several days. A wave moving off the coast of Africa has a 50% chance for tropical formation. This area we're going to have to watch closely. Has a medium chance for tropical development. There's nothing there right now, but atmospheric conditions will be conducive for development as we go through the next several days. So keep that in mind. There are no tropical threats right now, but it's something we'll continue to watch. There's a look at your 7-day, 92 today, 40% chance for rain and storms. Sunday, 92, 50%, and then a little bit of a cool down heading into Thursday due to a weak cold front. Emily?
All right, Michelle, thank you. Every week, News 6's Eric Von Enken has a new project for you to tackle. After the break, he'll help you fix a common issue after a storm. But first, get those tickets out. Here's a look at the winning numbers from last night's Florida Lottery drawings. Good luck. Coming up on News 6 Mornings, an exciting day on the Space Coast as SpaceX prepares to send 2 crew members to the International Space Station who will join some familiar faces on their mission. And Michelle, what can we expect as far as weather goes today for that launch?
It's going to be hot.
It's going to be hot.
Heat indices behind me feeling like 103, 106 degrees for many spots. Rain chances around 30 to 40% today. Getting even lower as we head into the upcoming work week. We'll talk about that and what's going on in the tropics right after the break.
Plus, storm damage across central Florida after Hurricane Helene ripped through the southeast. What families are dealing with as they begin to recover. You're watching News 6. We'll be right back.
Download the News 6 Hurricane Tracker app. Sign up for push alerts with the most recent storm watches and warnings. Tracking the tropics with News 6. Just search WKMG in your app store. Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results.
Now on News 6 Mornings, a new crew headed to the International Space Station. Space fans across central Florida are preparing for liftoff. Plus, Helene wreaked havoc across Florida Thursday night and Friday. Now, families across the state are trying to figure out how to deal with the damage it caused. Welcome back to the morning news. Time now is 5:30 on your Saturday. You're watching News 6 Getting Results. I'm Emily McLeod. Before we update you on our top stories, meteorologist Michelle Morgan has a quick check of today's forecast. Michelle, what can we expect on our Saturday?
So as we take a look at the radar setup here across the U.S., this is what's left of Helene. You can see that little spin here, that counterclockwise spin. So it is a remnant low, bringing light showers to parts of Kentucky and also Ohio. But you could see this band here, this outer band, very displaced. But for us here at home, we will see some showers and some thunderstorms push in as we go through today. Really hit or miss, and heavy rain possible. It'll be brief, but I would have that umbrella with me just in case. Rain chances about 40% as we go through the entire day. Now, winds and wind gusts. We're getting sustained winds out of the southwest, I would say between 5 to 10 miles per hour. Stronger gusts along our coast, clocking in wind gusts of 15 miles per hour in New Smyrna Beach, 10 miles per hour in Cocoa Beach, and 11 miles per hour in Cape Canaveral. Now, winds will remain gusty along the coast if you are heading out to the beach, and due to that, there's a high rip current risk in place for the entire day. There's a look at your current temperatures. If you're heading out dark and early, we're in the middle to upper 70s. It is muggy. It feels tropical as we go through the afternoon. Again, 40% after 10, staying 40% through the afternoon. We'll see a daytime high of 92 degrees. But keep in mind, because it's so humid out there, the moisture content in the atmosphere will make it feel so much hotter. We're looking at the heat indices between 105 to 106, 7 degrees, some spots even higher. So if you're planning any outdoor activities today, make sure you're staying hydrated. Take it easy, but we are looking at lower rain chances as we head into the upcoming work week. And also the tropics are getting very busy. I'll break it all down coming up in a bit.
All right, Michelle, thank you. Well, it's set to be a historic day on the Space Coast as SpaceX plans to launch its Crew 9 mission to the International Space Station. It will be the first mission from Launch Complex 40 with astronauts for SpaceX, but they've had to make some adjustments for this mission, going from 4 crew members to 2. The crew will be joining Boeing Starliner astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams. They launched earlier this year to the ISS before their capsule had to return to Earth without them due to issues on the flight up. They'll be joining the Crew 9 and returning with them in February, as News 6's Troy Campbell shows us. People are excited to see that Crew 9 launch finally get off the ground. All right, now the weather looks like it's going to hold up for the launch, but just a couple days ago, it was a completely different story. Hurricane Helene ripped through Florida's Big Bend this week, but this storm was so big, impacts could be felt across Central Florida. Some families in the area are now dealing with homes destroyed by the storm. Rain and hurricane-force winds caused major flooding and damage along the Gulf Coast as it ripped through. People are recovering there, trying to figure out the next steps after the storm. But back here in Central Florida, not everybody was spared. News 6 reporter Trezor Roberts spoke with one family who says they had some scary moments during the storm. They say it tore a hole in their roof, and they're now trying everything they can to fix the damage.
It's leaking in the 2 bedrooms, it's leaking in both bathrooms, it's leaking in the kitchen, it's leaking in where I had a fireplace. I got a hole up there, and there where that was, because the chimney's gone.
And it's not just here in Florida where the effects of Helene are being felt. After making its way through the Big Bend, Helene continued to slam into the southeast. Now, this is video of damage in North Carolina. Someone got this video on their phone of a roof as it floated by what is normally a neighborhood street in Asheville, North Carolina. Catastrophic flooding there in Asheville. And we've been finding video of dramatic rescues from the storm at this hospital in Tennessee. Nearly 60 people had to be pulled by a helicopter to safety. The hospital was urged to evacuate, but it flooded so quickly, ambulances weren't able to get in. Now let's go ahead and check back in with meteorologist Michelle Morgan. Michelle, that has got to be one of the scariest things about these storms is when that flooding comes in, it comes in fast.
Yes. You know, you had that storm surge, and that's why we always tell everyone things can change so quickly, so that's why you have to prepare. And as we take a look at what's going on here in the tropics currently, it looks like the hurricane season really not slowing down. So we are looking at 2 areas here, but before I get to those 2 areas, I am tracking 2 named storms. We have Hurricane Isaac, which is going to continue to fly to the north, And then we are looking at Tropical Storm Joyce. You can see it right there. Not going to be an issue for anyone. It will continue to meander over the central Atlantic and then eventually dissipate. Looking at this area here, the National Hurricane Center has placed a 50% chance for tropical development. There's a tropical wave in the next 7 days. But this area we're going to have to watch. Again, we're looking at the Western Caribbean and also portions of the Gulf of Mexico as we go through the next 7 days. National Hurricane Center has placed a 40% chance for tropical development during that time frame. There's nothing there yet, but we could see gradual development as we go through, again, 7 days, and a tropical depression could form sometime this week. So we'll have to watch that very closely. Helene, it is a post-tropical system. It's bringing light showers to parts of Kentucky, but look at this, looking at those outer rain bands still extending across central Florida. That's going to keep our rain chances about 40% today. Hit or miss downpours are certainly possible. Have the rain gear ready to go just in case. It's still breezy. Winds out of the northwest between 10 to 15 miles per hour, creating a high rip current risk. So keep that in mind if you are heading to the beach. Now it's going to be hot, humid, temperatures in the 90s. I'll break it all down coming up in my full forecast.
All right, Michelle, thank you. Well, unemployment benefits are meant to provide some relief if you find yourself in between jobs, but if those payments are delayed, it may end up causing more stress. Coming up, we take a look at a couple of cases where people say they weren't getting their benefits on time. Jamie.
A heart-stopping game at Hard Rock Stadium last night as the 7th-ranked Miami Hurricanes hosted Virginia Tech in the ACC opener, a game that was just too close for comfort. Highlights from South Florida are on the way. Plus, the high school football season is halfway home. Lots of Friday night lights are coming up next.
A man contacted News 6 after he waited 6 months to receive his unemployment benefits, and he's finally getting results. But after his story aired, more people reached out to us with the same issue, benefits being on hold. News 6 producer Robert Brewer gives us a look at two of these situations as he looks for answers. That has got to be so frustrating. You call and you apply for the benefits and then they're delayed. I mean, waiting since June to get that relief is super frustrating.
It's very frustrating.
And we see people after Hurricane Helene dealing with, they've contacted FEMA, they say, and they're dealing with those. It's headaches all around when you've got to make those phone calls.
I have my thoughts, but I'll just keep them to myself. We'll go ahead and talk about what's going on in the weather.
We want to hear your thoughts about the weather, though.
Oh, yes. Let's talk about that. Yeah, it's very important. So I do want to show you what's going on in the tropics. Very busy. This actually looks like a late August, early September setup, especially leading into the peak of hurricane season, which is September 10th. We're about to be in October, and look how busy it is. We had the remnants of Helene still bringing rain to parts of Kentucky and Ohio this morning. Hurricane Isaac won't be an issue. That's going to continue to lift to the north over very cool waters and eventually dissipate. Tropical storm Joyce will remain a fish storm. Looking at this area here closer to the coast of Africa, a tropical wave that has a medium chance for tropical development in the next 5 days, and that is the development zone there. Now, I do want to draw your attention to this area the National Hurricane Center has highlighted. Again, we are looking at the potential for tropical development in the next 7 days. They have placed a 40% chance for that. There's nothing there right now. This is just a development zone. But we are looking at the Western Caribbean and parts of the Gulf of Mexico as we go through the next several days. And we could see a tropical depression by midweek. We're going to be watching that very closely. But as of right now, there are no tropical threats to Central Florida. Quick recap of what's been going on in the tropical season here, hurricane season. We're now at Joyce. Again, we had 2 major hurricanes so far for the season. That was Helene and Beryl. So the next names on the list, again, if those 2 areas gets named, we're looking at Kirk and Leslie. So as we take a look at what's going on here locally, there's what's left of Helene, still looking at those outer bands away from the center, and that'll continue to draw in some moisture, some showers and thunderstorms. Spotty as we go through today, hit or miss. As we take a look at what's going on here, looking at a batch of showers moving across Polk County this morning, a batch of showers out to the west. So I'd have that umbrella ready to go just in case. I am calling for a 40% chance for showers and thunderstorms. Winds and wind gusts, still pretty breezy out there. Because of the strong winds out of the northwest, we are looking at a high rip current risk along our coast. If you are planning a beach day, be careful. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. Low rain chances, but make sure you're swimming near a lifeguard. Be careful out there. Current temperatures, we are in the middle to upper 70s. It is quite tropical out there. Temperatures will continue to climb into the lower 90s with a 40% coverage for rain and storms through the entire day. Now the heat indices, this is what's going to feel like on the skin because it still feels pretty humid and tropical, feeling like 104 to 105 degrees. Now timing things out here, we'll continue to see spotty showers, some downpours, winds continuing out of the south. That's going to continue to increase the humidity through today. By lunch, a random downpour over Lake County certainly possible. And we'll continue to see hit or miss showers and storms as we go through the afternoon, and that'll continue into tonight. So here's a look at your 7-day forecast here, getting you results. We're looking at 92 today with a 40% chance for showers and storms, 92 tomorrow with a 50%, and then rain chances continuing to decrease as we go into the upcoming work week.
All right, Michelle, thank you. Well, it's a big week for UCF football as Colorado comes to the Bound House, hot off a big win from last week. Plus, plenty of high school football across Central Florida last night as the season heats up. News 6 sports anchor Jamie Say has your latest in sports.
Insiders.
What does it mean to be an insider? Get access to exclusive content like behind-the-scenes looks, enter contests, and more. Sign up to be a News 6 insider at clickorlando.com.
So Johnny Depp reprised his role as Captain Jack Sparrow to surprise children at a hospital in Spain. Hospital staff say the Pirates of the Caribbean actor got the children to laugh with some Jack Sparrow antics. Depp was in Spain to promote his film Modi, 3 days on the wing of madness at the Basque Film Festival. I always love seeing those videos too, where he would go on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. It was a while ago, dressed as Captain Jack Sparrow. Yeah. And then people would freak out. Can you imagine?
I could imagine, actually. I would love that for myself. Yeah,
I think a lot of people would.
Yeah, we need a big smile on our face, too. That would be great. No, I love that he does that, especially for kids in the hospital, because it's already scary. You know, it's not a really good setup. So him going and do that, what an awesome thing. Love that story. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on in the weather here. 92 today, 40% chance for rain through the morning and the afternoon. So keep that umbrella nearby. Hot and humid again tomorrow with a 50%. We're still at that 50% mark on Monday for showers and storms, 94. And then we're looking at lower 90s up until Thursday. Models are hinting at a cold front that will be approaching the area. That's going to drop down our temperatures in the upper 80s. But you know what? I do think we need a few dry days, and we'll get that by midweek. So it'll be nice.
A little bit of relief, a little bit of a breather.
Yeah, and it's not going to feel like fall, but it'll feel nice.
Not quite. All right, here's what's coming up next on the next hour of News 6 Mornings. A historic SpaceX launch from the Space Coast today as they send 2 crew members to the International Space Station. Plus a look at the damage caused by Helene, both here in Central Florida and across the state. Another hour of news and weather coming up right here on News 6. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. We're back in 3 minutes.